Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of this SD Times live microwebinar series on automated application testing. I'm David Rubenstein, editor-in-chief of SD Times, and if you missed episode 1, which is available on sdtimes.com under the Learning tab, we introduced the topic and we looked at how autonomous software testing enabled by cutting-edge AI can take your testing program to the next level by providing visibility into all areas of your application. Today, we're going to be exploring the journey to automation maturity. And with me again is Kevin Parker. He's the Vice President of Product at autonomous testing company Appvance, one of the very early companies to build automation into their test solutions. Welcome back, Kevin.
It's good to see you again, David. I'm delighted to be here.
Always a pleasure. So let's get started with this. How do people actually get started with real AI-based test automation? How does that work?
So it's a good question. And of course, it depends on the different abilities of your AI technology. We always think that a good starting point is to make a clear distinction between what the humans are going to do and what the AI is going to do. At this stage in the maturity of autonomous testing, that is to say, generative AI, designing, writing and executing your tests. At this stage, there isn't the confidence yet inside organizations to let the AI do everything. Your compliance officer, your requirements engineers, maybe the product owner, certainly the auditor is going to have an opinion about who writes those high-value, high-risk tests, and they're likely to demand that they get written by humans. Of course, if you've got AI assisting in there, then the AI can do some of the heavy lifting, but humans are going to have to do that. And our experience at Appvance is that it falls around somewhere between 10 to 20% of the total use cases that are defined that end up being written by humans. So that's the starting point. Who's going to do what?
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So maybe you can explain to our listeners exactly how you define autonomous testing and how it can help you get things done more quickly.
So the Society of Automotive Engineers has a wonderful 6-point maturity model for self-driving, and it starts out at level 0, which is no automation, goes on to level 1, which is primitive cruise control, and then it adds in step-by-step lane keeping, collision avoidance, automatic braking, and so on. Autonomous testing follows that same kind of model, where level 0 is no automation at all, and then you get onto the automation ladder by having some kind of scripting tool that drives the tests for you. Autonomous testing then is when you get up to level 4 and 5, and you actually have the AI that is not only executing the tests automatically for you, but is designing them and writing them too. The ability of the AI to write tests is quite interesting. If you go and play with ChatGPT, as I do quite often, and you ask it to write a test script for you, it is remarkable how quickly it is able to generate a test script in Selenium, say.
Mm-hmm.
But when you dig into those test scripts and take a close look at them, what you'll find is that occasionally you get those little chevron brackets that say, fill in this part here. And what we've seen at Appvance is that ChatGPT and the like are about 30 to 70% good at writing the script for you, but you've got then 30 to 70% to fill in yourself. And the reason for that is that these AIs don't really understand the purpose of the application. They only see the elements. They're not very good at interpreting English when people say something like click to the left of the tree, right? Whatever does that mean? So that technology is embryonic. To us, then getting to that level where the AI can full fidelity generate the test scripts requires something else, and it requires an understanding of the application architecture, an understanding of what the internal user flows actually look like. And the way in which we do that is using our blueprinting technology, which analyzes the application's architecture. And in that way, then we have a full map of the application. And then when we look at those test cases in English, we're able to map them to the functional elements of the user flows. And that enables us to get to 100% full fidelity for our testing.
Interesting. Well, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I know this is a conversation people are having. A lot of times users will use an application in a way that it wasn't meant to be used, and that will reveal a problem of some sort. How does the AI recognize that, deal with it and correct it, or is it just simply flagging it and then a human has to intervene? How would that work?
So let me ask a question back to you then. So my experience has been that when you put a new release out into production, the first errors that get reported are usually when the end users go off script. Has that been your experience?
That's
So I would turn the question around the other way, David, and say, actually, it's a good idea to have the AI go off script before we release the software on our users and see if the AI can trip those traps that are out there that nobody expected, nobody planned for, and certainly nobody designed the test scripts for. That definition of test cases is it's every conceivable user flow. And there's the fallacy, right? Somebody has to conceive of these user flows. And quite often, there are pathways in the application that nobody knew really existed. And to your point, right, those power end users, they're always looking to optimize how they navigate through the application so that they can get their job done more quickly and more effectively. And when they step off the path, sometimes they're going to find something that might be benign or humorous, but sometimes they might bring the system down. So it's really important to find those errors early, and only having 100 bots doing your testing can you really get to that scale of testing.
That's true. That's true. So I know in testing everybody's talking about coverage. How much should we have? The more the better, what have you. Yet some people say that you can get better coverage with fewer scripts, and maybe you could explain how that works, because that seems kind of counterintuitive.
Well, I think it's better coverage with humans writing fewer scripts and devoting more time to training their AI bots. Because if you think about it, your organization doesn't pay you for how accurate you are clicking a mouse and how fast you can fill out a form on an application. They pay you for domain knowledge. They pay you for the years of experience that you've got in understanding what the application is trying to achieve and what business outcomes it's delivering. And if you can transfer that knowledge to the bots, you can now have 100 bots doing the typing and the clicking, and you can then target those bots to penetrate deeply into those user flows, to do all of the corner cases, to have every combination and permutation of data values so that you can comprehensively test an application. I think we get overconfident when we say, we've got, 70% test coverage, because as we were just saying, there are user flows in the application that nobody ever thought of, and we need to discover those and test those too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really writing fewer tests. What it is, it's changing the emphasis of what you do from, I'm going to write the business critical ones. I'm going to make sure that, those things that have high risk, so financial risk, reputational risk, maybe even criminal risk, that those get done by humans because humans have more rigor and they understand the application. And those less serious ones, we can let the AI handle those for us.
Well, it's interesting when you were talking earlier about, autonomous cars. That's obviously mission critical stuff. So,
Right.
how much are they going to allow AI to, take over that part of the testing where, God forbid something fails in a car and, you could have fatalities.
Yeah, well, I think I read Elon Musk saying that very thing. I think it was last week, that when it comes to quality testing for full self-driving, then not one single error is permitted, right? Because human lives are at risk here. And I think that if you talk to software engineers who are writing applications for banking, and you talk to software engineers who are writing applications for the medical industry, or software engineers who are developing applications for the military,
Yep.
there is kind of an inherent level of rigor that is, much more sophisticated and much more concentrated on driving out errors. And I was, just while we were waiting for the meeting to start, David, I was just Googling quality assurance. And I think we sometimes forget, right, that our job is not to find bugs. Our job is to assure the quality of what we deliver. The dev team write the code, the dev team fix the code. The quality team, don't participate in that. And so quality is a job that starts throughout the life cycle, all the way from ideation to implementation. And we can use AI to assist in all of those phases, right? So my team here just started using AI to do code reviews. Developers hate code reviews, but now they don't, right? Because the AI does it. It's just between you and the AI, and you can fix up the things that the AI is going to find for you. So there's lots of opportunity of using AI to drive quality.
Yeah. So it would seem then that, having the, quality engineers using artificial intelligence to become more strategic in the organization, have a more important role than simply assuring quality, but actually taking some strategic IT initiatives.
Yes, and part of that is by suggesting ways in which AI can be deployed throughout the software delivery, so essentially throughout the quality life cycle. But also when you think about your application, I know that, in my life doing software testing, there have been occasions when, I've let the release go, and, there's been a sort of a heavy lump in my heart saying, I wish we'd tested that feature more. I wish that we'd focus more on the usability of that feature. And now it's not that we have the luxury, but now we have the opportunity to have those kind of thoughts and to use the power of the unlimited resource of AI. I cannot emphasize enough just what an extraordinary delight it is, to sit and watch those AI bots cranking out unique tests independently based on what my knowledge is of the application. Cranking out, tests 10, 50 a minute. It's a breathtaking experience.
That's great. Well, Kevin, once again, thanks so much for your time. I know, as they used to say on the Johnny Carson show, I know you can't stick around. You have someplace to go. So we'll let you go. But another fascinating episode. And of course, we have another one in 2 weeks that I hope people will tune in for. So I would say, again, episode 1 and this one shortly will be available on sttimes.com for, viewing over and over again. And thanks again to the audience for listening in, as we love to have them with us. So until next time, I'm Dave Rubenstein again, Editor-in-Chief of SD Times. So long for now.
Thanks again, David. Bye.
Yeah.